ages, but like I said, a lot of young people are here. And I beg to say that I am actually one of you because, the age is a thing of the mind. You're just as old as you present yourself. So I always like to identify with young people. So when Chinwe asked me, Chinwe, can you hear me? Is it very clear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Any connection? Okay, so when Chinwe asked me to give the keynote address, and I knew that the target audience would be young people, I couldn't resist it. I said, I must be here to give my own words of advice and encouragement to all of you. So I just want to say welcome, amazing youth of Africa. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on the time zone you're in. It's 2:45 in Nigeria. We're in Lagos, Nigeria, and it's a bright and sunny day. What's the temperature like in your region? So just tell me where you are and what it's like, because I want this to be interactive. Tell me, what's the weather like in your country? So just type in the comment section. I want us to share our thoughts, because I'll be giving the keynote address and I'll be leaving, but I'll hang on and hear what the conversations are about. So please share as much as you want, because to be honest, in life, the difference between you and the next person is how you express yourself. You have to be able to express yourself. Expressiveness is a key attribute for anybody at this level. So please feel free to speak your mind, share your thoughts, your greetings and acknowledgements on what you feel entirely about this webinar. So I'll give my keynote address. I'd like to commend the Grand Africa Initiative team, led by Chinwe Okoli, for organizing this timely discussion today. Because to be honest, the whole world, like I said earlier, is about the connectedness of everyone. So you can be in Iceland and you're connecting with somebody in New Zealand, and that leads to empowerment across all genders, because connectivity moves you from one place to the other without you being there physically. So it's all about your virtual presence. So we congratulate Chinwe for starting this grand initiative, which coincides with the month for women. We're marking the end of the Women History Month, a month where women are reminded that they are better than what the cultural barriers would have imposed on them. We know that we are better than all that we have around us. You know, we must not allow ourselves to be defined by boundaries. Let's open our minds and say, hey, we're better than this. Like I said, the world is focused on Africa. So you have to present yourselves for the opportunities that would come your way. And there are opportunities. So this is a good time, because women are making the mark everywhere. Women are reminded that they're better than what people would condition them to believe. Conditioning is a very strong limiting factor. When you're conditioned negatively, you tend to accept and believe those negative attributes that the world or your culture puts upon you. So now we want to condition women and men to believe that they are better than the world would think that they want them to be. So this is a time where young women and men are encouraged to reach for the stars. You're encouraged to reach for the stars, to be the best that you could ever be. This is a time, a month, where we see role models evolving on a daily basis. We see sisters, we see women, we see young women, we see older women. I'll give examples of these key figures as we talk on. So this is a month where we see women breaking the glass ceiling, moving ahead and taking charge of the future, and at the same time empowering younger women and even the older women, because like I said earlier, age is nothing but a number. It's what you have in your mind. You're as old as you present yourself. So this is a month that we're called to look into the future, to see the possibilities that present themselves, so that we can also see ourselves as an empowerment role pad and launch pad to push other women, women supporting women, men supporting women. A month where women are recognized and celebrated for their efforts towards promoting gender equality and justice all over the world. We've heard of Aisha during the EndSARS riots in Lagos. I'm sure a lot of you must have heard because it was widely publicized. There were two women that made a mark. One of them was a DJ. She loves music just like any one of you. And then the other was a young Muslim girl. Ordinarily, anybody would think that because of cultural inhibitions or religious inhibitions, that she wouldn't put herself out there, but she was a key figure. She was a role model in the struggle, and these two women distinguished themselves in every way. And everybody respects that in Nigeria today. They've gone down in the annals of history. So where do you see yourselves? As young women, as young men, how do you see yourselves impacting positively and making a mark in your environment? How do you model yourselves after these people that we've spoken about? It can happen. It can happen to you. You just choose. All you need to do is to choose to be counted amongst one of those people that wants to make a difference in the world. And you can start in your own small corner. Be the change you want to see. It starts in your own little corner, doing something little. There's a popular saying about saints. Saints are not the ones that do extraordinary things, but people that do little things in an extraordinary way. So with that injunction, I just want to encourage you with a couple more names that have been women in their fields that are breaking barriers in oil and gas, in politics, in trade, in industry, in banking. In my bank, we had our first female managing director after 23 years of the bank's existence. And that opened up the doors for many other women in Citibank, in FCMB, in my country, Nigeria. More women are being appointed into the C-suites as CEOs. We have the first female MD in an in a multinational in Nigeria. It's a Shell-owned company, it's a multinational. Mrs. Eloho Aibonu was recently appointed as the first female managing director of SNEPCO. SNEPCO stands for Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company. I'm sure you must have heard of our big sister and auntie, who sparked off a fashion trend recently, Mrs. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. You know, with her characteristic gele. In Nigeria, we call it gele, it's a headgear. She is the first woman and indeed the first African to be appointed as the DG, Director General of the World Trade Organization. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that amazing? This is a grandmother. A grandmother. Ordinarily, you would think that she'd be retired, but like I said, age is nothing but a number. Is nothing but a number. So it doesn't matter if you're young, it doesn't matter if you're old, you can still make a mark where you are. So these are some of the women that we're talking about. And of course, around the world in politics, our greatest claim to fame as a woman, of course, you know, is the current vice president, the first female vice president. And she's of African origin. She's an African American. Of course, with multicultural background, she's Indian, and you can imagine having the multiplicity of different cultural backgrounds repressing you as a woman. We all know about the cultural difficulties in India. Then you put that together with what happens in Africa, but yet she rose above those boundaries and sought the highest ranking female office in the US. And today that's paid off. She's the first African American and first African Asian American vice president. And then one of my excellent role models again is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. You can follow me on LinkedIn if you want. I always make it a point of duty to, and Chinua is going to feature very soon. When I see young people, or especially women, making their mark in their fields, I'm always happy to celebrate them. So if you're doing something amazing, please let me know. I'll shout it out to the world. And of course, men, you're not left out. Val, I can see you smiling intently at me. I'm ready to celebrate you, Justice. I'm ready to celebrate you guys. So please give me a shout out. I'm available on all social media handles. I don't use any fancy names, just Chinwe Elualu. I'll be ready to celebrate you. So I just celebrated her. She just set up, that's the first female prime minister, New Zealand. Her name is Jacinda Ardern. She shows what leading with empathy means. Apart from her groundbreaking achievements and all that, she just added one more recently by granting leave to those who suffer miscarriages. I thought that was empathy at its best. Empathy means putting yourself in somebody's shoes to understand their feelings. And you know how it is, maybe when you get to childbearing age, the loss of a child, especially an unborn child, is something that is very devastating for most women. So she passed it into law. I think that's amazing. That's a woman making great strides in politics. And of course, we've heard of Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank. For a long time, she was the managing director of the IMF, making very far-reaching landmark financial policies all over the world. She met with presidents all over the world and world leaders, and she made her mark. Now she's gone on to be the president of the European Central Bank. Nancy Pelosi, there are so many of them. If you know any female leaders, role models that you want to celebrate, please put it in the comment section. We've heard of Angela Merkel, the Vice Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany. So there's so many of them. So back to our topic, I want us to understand what empowerment means, because the topic is the era of an empowered woman and men, because we have a lot of men in the audience. So what does empowerment mean? I'll just read off what the Oxford Dictionary says. Empowerment means to make someone or something stronger and more confident. Making someone more confident or stronger. There's a song that goes like that. I think it's by I can't remember. Maybe I'll let Chinwe play it. I think it's a good theme song for this webinar. So how do we make people stronger, more confident? It means especially in controlling their lives and allowing them know what their rights are. We have to educate and inform people about their rights. That's empowerment. So you might think that everybody looks at empowerment in the financial space. Oh, if I'm going to empower someone, I'm going to give them money, I'm going to give them giveaways. No, that's not empowerment. Do you know what empowerment is? We've said making somebody more confident, making someone more confident and stronger. And guess what? I love the youth, because you guys have something that we never had when we're growing up. Do you know what it is? Does anyone want to hazard a guess, Cynthia? What you have that we never had growing up is the social media platform. That's where you can make your voice be heard. You can inform, you can educate, you can entertain. You can empower people by telling them, choose a niche, create a niche for yourself. Say, this is what I want to do. I want to empower young women in the village and tell them what the government initiatives are towards building a better future for yourself. You can do that. So that's what empowerment means. Don't always attribute. Look at Chinwe, what she's doing. I don't know how much seed funding she's gotten so far, but even she will attract it. But even without that, she's empowering people. She's empowering she's empowering me. I need empowerment. We all need, and empowerment is a continuum. It goes on and on and on all through your lives. Empowerment is a continuum. So don't ever forget that. Look for something and create value. It's in value creation that you make an impact in life. So, but Wikipedia also defines women's empowerment as a process of empowering women. Empowerment can be defined in many ways, including acceptance of women's viewpoints. Let's be open-minded and all-inclusive. We need to, especially the men amongst us, let's be open-minded, let's be objective, let's be able to understand and appreciate and accept other people's viewpoints. That's a good way of understanding and supporting the need for women's empowerment. So understanding women's viewpoints or making an effort to seek them and raising the status, I've spoken about this, raising the status of women through education, awareness, literacy, and training. That's what Chinwe is doing now. Capacity building. That's how to empower. So some of you can come together, join forces, and do something about education, creating awareness. You have the platforms, social media platforms, use it. Use it freely, use it wisely. Let's not just use it for memes and all that, and jokes and all that. Let's do it for something that would change the world. You know, let's not just use it for Davido or Wizkid, but let's use it for something good, just like Chinwe is doing. So I believe that we'll be better together. We'll be better together. Remember that the main theme of this webinar is connected for action. So when we are empowered, we'll be better together. We'll achieve more together. We can literally move mountains when we unite. There's power in unity. There's power in teamwork. There's power in teaming, in that team spirit, creating that team spirit. So together on this platform, on this game platform, we can move mountains, guys. We can move mountains. So we just need to unite. So I just don't mean women uniting. I mean human beings uniting for a common purpose. So it's not just about the color of your skin. Yes, we're African. But remember, Africa has opened up, the whole world is open, is focused on Africa. So we have Caucasians, we have Africans, we have Indians. So we're all human beings. When we understand that everybody has their fundamental human rights, regardless of your age, your gender, your race, your financial status, your religious inclination, then we can do a lot together because we're first human beings created in the image of God. And there's unity in our diversity. As much as we're different, we can pull together all these resources and do something great for the world. So we're going to do this together because when we're united and connected, we make things happen. We fight off the enemy. We change minds, we change lives, we create a shift in the universe. We create a shift in our continent and things start working positively for us. So we need to bring this to this era of creating the empowered women. We cannot, and I have to say, because I'm very happy that there are lots of men on this webinar, I have to say that we must do this. We can't do this alone. We need the support of men. I was joking with Chinwe a couple of days ago that there's a clear difference, a marked difference between women's empowerment and feminism. Yeah, there's a marked difference. So in this instance, what Chinwe is saying and what I'm saying is that we want to work together with the men. We're not saying that women will rule the world. We're just asking that give us the platform to be able to compete on a level playing field with you all. So Peter, Justus, Val, Oscar, Edmond, and all the other nice, handsome gentlemen on this call, please go home today and decide in your schools, in your churches, in your workplaces that you join us together in this call for women empowerment. So when men and women connect, the men are expected to give maximum support to women in the boardroom, in the business places. I'll give you an example. When Okonjo-Iweala was looking for the candidacy for the WTO, she got her greatest support from President Joe Biden. And of course, our dear President, President Buhari. It was the men that took it upon themselves to make sure that she got into that role. And surprisingly, she was competing against another woman. So that was a level playing field, if you ask me. So it was great that the support was coming from women. So please, let's look out for opportunities to do that. Because Nigeria has, and indeed all over Africa, we've been having cases of women having low positions and lack of a representation in elective offices. It's not the same in America. I've just talked about Kamala Harris.
Awesome. Awesome.
There was another woman in Atlanta that actually swung the votes to the Democrats. Stacey Adams, I don't know if you've heard of her. So please, I want to encourage you, read far and wide. You need to know, because you know the famous saying that goes, think global and act local. And the world is a center stage, because you don't have to be in New Zealand to know what's going on there. So please empower yourselves by reading far and wide, because when you know what's going on, you'll be able to inform and educate and empower. So Nigeria has been in the forefront of pushing for the UN developmental goals, especially with the empowerment of women. And we're seeing the fruits of all those efforts across board, because Nigeria will continue to be the center stage. We're the giants of Africa. But of course, we're there as big brother to the other smaller nations, and we also have our partner in arms in South Africa. So we can make a difference wherever we are. So just to round up, I want to say that all hands on deck need to be on deck to go find empowering women. It's also important that women need to brace up for the empowerment. We need to be mentally ready for the job at hand. We need to create competencies around ourselves. So let's not say, I've never liked it to be said that a woman only got in there because she's a woman. She got that slot because of her gender. Please, let's prepare ourselves so that we can get into these positions purely by merit. So every participant on this webinar, I urge you to look around. Wouldn't you want to see a world where more and more women become empowered? What actions can we take on our levels, on our different levels, in our different spaces, whether at home, like I said, or at work? What actions can you take to turn this around for you first? Because you have to love your first. If you don't love yourself first, you can't love another. So the injunction is love yourself and then love your neighbor. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself, and you have to have confidence. Remember, empowerment is about creating that confidence. So we have to have that confidence about ourselves, because once what you have, you can't give what you don't have. So to every woman in this room, beautiful Palisa Morabe, I love your hair and your makeup. You look like a very confident and empowered woman. I'd like you to radiate that gift that you have to every woman around you. Ada Edolo, please do that. So what can you do at your family level, your community level, at the national level? It all starts with you. You can do it. You can do it. So in my closing remarks, I just want to give some words of advice and a few quotes just to let you know. Study while others are sleeping. Decide while others are delaying. Prepare while others are daydreaming. Begin while others are procrastinating. Work whilst others are wishing. Save whilst others are wasting. Listen while others are talking. Smile while others are frowning. And persist where others are quitting. There's no limit to what we can achieve as women. That's by Michelle Obama. And remember, you are never too young to lead, and you are never too old to learn. That's by Kofi Annan. Thank you very much.
This is deep. This is rich. This is, oh, I wish I can unmute everyone to start clapping, because honestly, we should actually give a standing ovation, like a loud standing ovation. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I mean, when I saw you coming on board and you being Chinwe, I know the kind of things Chinwes do, and this is a senior Chinwe. So thank you so much for giving us so much value. I got a lot of value. I mean, a lot of key takeaways. And the interesting thing is that this is recorded, it's being recorded, and it's also streaming live on YouTube. And so we're still going to continue sharing this message for those those that are not here and those that will see it later. So thank you so much for all the value. So everyone on the call, if you got value, can I hear you type? Can I see you type value in the comment section? Did you get value? Did you enjoy this session? I want to see your comments. Say value, value, value. Let me see your comments. Yeah. But let's say value. Of course, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Good. Keep it coming. So value up. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Ma'am, thank you so much for this rich conversation. A lot of thought-provoking questions were asked. Thank you very much. Thank you. We got a lot of value. Everyone, please type thank you to appreciate our keynote speaker. Appreciate our keynote speaker in the comment by typing thank you. Type thank you. Type thank you. Thank you. Type thank you. If you yeah, of course, thank you. Star, I can see you. Thank you. Good, good, good. Thank you. That was rich. That was deep. Of course, you will have many more opportunities to rewatch this, because we really need to digest every word that she had said and try to provide answers to all the questions she raised, because she left us with a lot of thought-provoking questions for reflection, and these will guide our actions and also amplify our impact if we act on them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you all for really being active. I like the energy I'm getting in the room. I like the energy I'm seeing in the comment section, all from all parts of Africa. Thank you all. And even out of Africa, I can see someone from Dubai, from Qatar. Thank you all for being here. So now we're just going to conclude this session. And then again, I'm thanking Mrs. Chinwe Iloalo. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time. Thank you for such rich conversation. I'm thanking you on behalf of the other people, because the truth is that they cannot, they can't talk. If they can now, they would like to thank you by themselves. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now moving on to the next agenda, the next item on the agenda, which is the panel conversation. Are you people ready for the panel?
I want to go home. As in, I need money.
Are you ready for the panel? Ike, you're unmuted yourself. Ike, you're interrupting our conversation. So everyone, you say you're ready for the next session. If you're ready, please type it in that you're ready for the panel conversation. If you're ready, let me bring on the panelists. Are you ready? Ready to go, ready. Good. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, God's Favor. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Abraman. No, so I'm not seeing the ladies. Looks like the ladies are not ready. Ladies, are you ready? I'm only seeing guys typing that they are ready. Ladies, are you ready? Good. Of course. Aha, now I can see Star. I can see Sarobidi from Madagascar, Star from South Africa. Cynthia, thank you very much. So right now, we are moving on to the panel, and this is Choose to Connect. Achieving self-empowerment. That is the topic. Choose a challenge, achieving self-empowerment, please. That's the topic for the panel conversation. And so to moderate this panel, we have Palesa Morabe, and she's the founder and CEO of Pulse Empowerment Solutions, South Africa. Palesa, I'm just going to go ahead and tell us a little about Palesa, and she will go ahead and introduce the rest of the panelists, okay? So Palesa is the founding director of Pulse Empowerment Solutions Limited, South Africa. A specialist skills development institution that offers innovative, practical, and versatile CPD accredited training solutions. So she prioritizes technical, personal, and professional skills development with a focus on advanced understanding and competency in areas related to engineering and business environments. The company, Pulse Empowerment Solutions, is passionate about the development of SMEs and sponsors a series of initiatives, including monthly webinars, which focus on growth and sustainability of small businesses. Palesa is an executive member for the South African Institute of Electrical Engineers, SAIEE, Entrepreneurship and Innovation Chapter, which provides knowledge-driven innovation and entrepreneurial support for sustainable, rapid economic growth for SMMEs within the sector. She's also the South African Young Leader for the World Women Conference and Awards, the Young Leaders Club, which focuses on programs that support the youth to become successful members of their families, schools, communities, and countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome our moderator for today, Palesa Morabe, to drive this conversation. Palesa, you have our attention, please.
Thanks, Chinwe, and a special thanks to our esteemed keynote, Ms. Alohale. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Welcome to all our panelists joining us today and to our audience. I just want to invite our panel to give us a brief introduction of themselves. I'm going to start with Ms. Tirelo Ramasedi. May you please take the floor for your introduction, please.
Please remember to mute yourself.
Tirelo, you are mute. May you please unmute yourself?
Wonderful. Hi, and good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are in Africa. Thank you so much for the wonderful energy. It essentially feels, I think this is the first webinar online meeting that I've felt like, we are doing it in person. But good afternoon, Palesa. What I was saying when I was muted there, I said I had a feeling that you were going to pick on me to start introducing myself. But nonetheless, there's an appointed time for everything under the sun. My name is Tirelo Ramasedi. It's a privilege and honor to be here. And thank you to GAIN for the invitation. I am an innovation and technology ecosystems champion. I think that I should broadly put it that way. I am a professional a researcher within the innovation ecosystems space, specifically looking at national innovation systems within Botswana and expanding out into the African region. It is an exciting time for Africa, and like the keynote said, everyone is looking to Africa. One of my other passions is the empowerment of females. Reason being, as a social entrepreneur, I am a problem solver. As a young person in Africa, I believe that we are all problem solvers, and we have the ability to solve problems, especially through innovation and technology. So we have a fundamental problem within, my country, within Africa, and within the world over, that there's an underrepresentation of females, within the social and economic perspective. My interest is specifically within the workplace in male-dominated sectors such as technology. So we have, the reason why I said we, a colleague of mine, she's called Khalalelo Mpipi. We run an initiative called the Mawenta Circle that looks at closing the gender and leadership gap within the technology sector in Botswana. Thank you, and I'm excited to be here.
Wow, thank you, Tirelo. I'm already excited already. Thank you so much. Now, next up, Mr. Oscar Begari. The floor is open for your introduction, sir.
Hello, everyone. Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you very much, Chinwe, for inviting to gather this panel. I'm going to start with a statement that says it's leadership, about leadership. A leader is an ordinary person that inspires other ordinary people to together achieve something extraordinary. So I believe we are achieving this extraordinary thing here today because of this leadership by Chinwe, who is the one who gathered, right? So again, my name is Oscar Inchaso from Equatorial Guinea. And I know you all by now knows that this is the only Spanish-speaking country on the continent. what can I say about myself? I consider myself a futurist. I'm a polyglot, economist, I'm a writer, but mostly and most important, I'm a dreamer who believes that everything is possible, that it's achievable. And that's why we are here, because we all passionate about youth empowerment and everything that comes behind and from this, what we're trying to achieve together as leaders. So I'm going to be brief now so other people can introduce themselves, and that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar. Thank you so much. Our third speaker now, we're moving on to Ms. Star Mavundla. The floor is open for you, ma'am. Star, if you may just kindly just unmute yourself, please.
Host is, okay. Okay, cool. I was trying to unmute myself. Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to just echo what Tirelo said about the energy. It's absolutely amazing. It's so rare to find people that are so fired up about an initiative. Thank you so much, Chinwe, for putting this together. Lalesa, you look stunning. And Madam Speaker, wow, your outfit inspired me. I was actually wearing something different, but I put my video on pause and I was like, no, I gotta go change. So I'm really delighted to be here. My name is Stabile Mavundla. I'm the founder of Zanda Zonke, which is a management consulting firm. And basically what we're passionate about is women in leadership. I personally feel as though women in executive positions don't need to behave as modified men in those positions that they're in. What we find happening is, yeah, we have this the whole drive to try alleviate the gender inequality gap and things like that. But you end up finding those women in those top leadership positions are actually behaving as modified men. So what happens now? There's a breakdown, there's a high divorce rate, they have a lot of issues regarding their health because it's unnatural for them. So what we do as Zanda Zonke, we basically run a program which we're evolving right now, bringing on a whole lot of powerhouses on board, where we want to inspire and empower women to be comfortable in being women in top leadership positions. Because once they can embrace and understand the fact that you're in that position because you're worthy of being there, and because what you have, nobody else has, then I feel as though the women will be able to make greater and bigger strides in whatever company or organization they'll be in. So that's just a lump sum of Zanda Zonke. Then we also have the foundation, which gives back to women, empowering them through that, and early childhood development, which is just an aside. Yeah, that's who I am.
Thanks, Ta. I think you touched on another interesting point there, that women shouldn't behave as modified men. And I think there's a question related to that we'll touch on that point, just in depth a little bit later on. So now let's move over to our next panelist, Ms. Evelyn Ireke from Nigeria. The floor is open to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Evelyn. I am so glad I signed up to be part of this. I was tremendously empowered by our keynote speaker, Ms. Chinwe Ilohalu. Thank you so much, ma'am. And Chinwe Okoli, the founder of Gain Africa. It's really amazing what you're doing. So thank you for the opportunity to join this conversation and, generally to be able to speak and then to listen to brothers and sisters all across Africa. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Okay, I am a professional with over 15 years work experience in the support services. And in 2016, I did a bit of a career change or a career modification, and I entered into communications. So I currently work as a communication expert. as well as an executive assistant in my organization. I am very, very passionate about mentoring one woman at a time, one person at a time, because I believe that the easiest way to change a nation is to start with the women. So if I am able to completely impact one woman in my lifetime, then I consider myself a success. So once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to join this conversation, to be empowered, to listen to other people's insights, other people's understandings of the topic of self-empowerment. Thank you so much. And I look forward to an afternoon, of in-depth, thorough discussions on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. I think we share the same sentiment when it comes to empowering one woman at a time. And I'm also, I'm also under that quest as well. I do the same here in South Africa, just one child at a time, female young girls, at a time here in South Africa. So thank you so much for that. Now moving on to our last, but certainly not least, Ms. Mapaseka Mpahama for her introduction, please.
Mapaseka. Oh.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, everyone. I am Mapaseka Mpahama from Lesotho. I am a social worker working for a charity organization that supports children that have been affected and infected by HIV and AIDS. Basically, I would just like to thank Chinwe for the invitation. I don't know why you chose me, but I'm guessing you saw something unique in me, because this is actually my first speaking engagement. So I'm very thankful to be able to join the conversation and just air my views. So yeah, I'm grateful. And I'm passionate about youth development and leadership, and just I'm a social activist in general. And I really love humanitarian service. Thank you.
Thanks, Mapaseka. Thank you so much. And I think Chino never done.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Palesa, can you hear me? Palesa, can you hear me? Looks like there's a glitch. Okay, yeah.
I was talking alone.
Yes. So continue, please.
Chinwe, I'm not too sure how far off I was cut off. So would you
start afresh. Start afresh. Yeah, like you were cut off from the beginning. Repeat what you just said.
Okay, thanks. So sorry about that. So I just wanted, I wanted to welcome all our panelists and just to explain the focus of today's engagement. First of all, we want to explore the concept of self-empowerment and its position in today's society, transformational society. And secondly, we want to understand the social challenges of empowerment in itself, as well as determine the best practices to empower ourselves or be empowered by others when necessary. Before I start with the conversation, I would like to encourage our audience to engage with our panel on the points that we are going to address today through our chat box. I will also open the floor to take 1 or 2 questions, so please feel free to utilize the raise your hand function to get an opportunity to ask your question or to share your views. We want this to really be an engaging session. We don't want to speak on our own and just have a one-sided, we would like to have as many points of views as possible. I'm going to start with a question for all the panelists, and which is empowerment. I mean, and I think our keynote speaker did mention it's different for it means different things for different people. As it comes
Looks like we've lost her again. Okay. Yeah, you're back. Continue. Continue, please. Go ahead. Palisa, we can see you. You can go ahead, please.
Okay. Did you guys get my question? Was I cut off again?
We didn't hear the question. So we didn't get the question.
I'm so sorry about that. I think I'm having some connectivity issues. It was great all day, but suddenly now I have no idea why. But nonetheless, I will continue. I'll just start the questions over. I was saying empowerment means different things for different people. And that makes it a complicated ideology. Now, in your view, I want to ask the panelists, what does it mean to truly be self-empowered? And I would like to find out if Evelyn would like to take us off with the first question, please.
Yes, Palisa, thank you so much. For me, self-empowerment is being able to make decisions for myself, to make my choices, to have that freedom or liberty to make full use of opportunities that come to me, regardless of my gender. Self-empowerment means to be prepared, which means I am continually trying to improve myself, to stay on top of my game, to be at the top of my skill set. Just like our keynote speaker said, to get opportunities, not because of my gender, but because I am really good at what I do. So for me, that is self-empowerment in a nutshell, having that freedom or liberty to make my own decisions and my choices, and to be able to pursue what I want to pursue without limitations. That is self-empowerment for me as a person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. I think that is a very important point you made there. And next up, I would like to find out from Mapaseka, as a social worker, what do you think is truly, it means to be truly self-empowered?
Thank you for the question, Palisa. In my opinion, I believe self-empowerment is owning your story. I believe it's being able to stand in your truth and realizing that it's your responsibility as an individual to invest in yourself, to invest in your growth, to tap into your higher self, and to pour into yourself so that you can be able to pour into others. As we know that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to pour into others with what's overflowing from you. So yeah, just to be able to make sound decisions. And I believe that it's self-empowerment it can happen regardless of the genders. It's necessary for everyone. It's being able to evolve, just being able to learn and relearn. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mapaseka. I think you just reminded me of a quote I read. I can't remember where it says, it's either you create your destiny or you let your destiny, or you control your destiny or you let your destiny control you. So that's a more or less, yeah, no, absolutely. So thank you for that. Tirelo, would you like to perhaps give us your view?
Hi, sorry, I missed the question again. I had a connection problem.
No worries, it's me and you both. I've been struggling with connectivity as well. So we're just trying to find out and just to try and define this term, that our topic today, just to try and introduce it and just to try and hear from you guys, what in your view does it mean to be truly self-empowered?
All right, wonderful. I think that, first and foremost, I should start off by saying what an amazing keynote. I think after she finished and her closing was just phenomenal. I thought, why are we all here? I think we should all end it here. But one thing that we should understand when we talk about self-empowerment, I think we need to look at ourselves. And we need to look at the relationship that we have with ourselves. I think that it's always easier to define the relationship that you have with others, but it's even harder to define the relationship that you have with yourself, because you cannot fool yourself. I think you can fool everyone else outside of you, but within the conversation that you have with yourself, you keep on sort of calling yourself to order and thinking, but is that really you? But we all have something to give in this world. We are all rich, and which is my starting point. It is very important for us to realize and understand when I say we are rich, the space in which we're occupying now, no one can occupy that space. So in expanding, we should know our space. And that is essentially reaching within the source of who we are. For me, it's reaching within my soul, knowing who I am, knowing where I start, and knowing my space. Because even if I have an identical twin, even if anyone has an identical twin at this point in time, they can never occupy the space that you are in. The seat that you're sitting on right now, no one can occupy that space. And therefore you have the power and the ability and the richness to provide value to the world, right? So we need to know that being self-empowered is having a very comprehensive, is having a very honest, and it's having a very disciplined relationship with yourself. And once you have that, you have the confidence, to relate with other people beyond that, because you are not going to sort of be influenced by any and everything that comes your way. So that is my starting point, that we are all rich, we all have something to give, and we should know our space in terms of the power that we possess, for we are all unique, within this world, and we all are here to contribute to the bigger and broader picture in our countries, in the African region, and globally as well.
Very profound. Thank you so much, Direlo. I think I like the link that you're making in terms of self-empowerment and actually understanding oneself, because it begins there. For you to tap into the power that's already in you, you need to really understand who you are. And I think also with the youth that I've been, interacting and engaging with, that's one of the main challenges, that they do not understand who they are, and therefore they flow where the wind blows. And ultimately they end up being, very miserable and, feeling like they're lost and whatnot. So I like that link a lot. And thank you so much for that, for that viewpoint. Thank you. Star, are you gonna take it over? Star Mavundla, the floor is open for you.
Hold on. Okay, I'm unmuted, right?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So self-empowerment, the key word there being self, I just want to add on to what Direlo was saying. I completely agree with it. Over and above that, empowerment is basically giving yourself power in the sense of self-empowerment. And that comes from the knowledge of self, because knowledge is power, right? Mm-hmm. So when we say that you want to be self-empowered, that knowledge of yourself needs to be, okay, cool, I've got these strengths, 1, 2, 3, but what are your weaknesses as well? Be honest with yourself. None of us are perfect. All of us are in the constant pursuit of personally developing ourselves, right? So understanding that self-empowerment is all inclusive of your strengths and your weaknesses. So nobody can come to you, Balesa, and say, ooh, Balesa, ooh, that one, she's so untidy. You're like, okay, I know I'm good at everything else, but when it comes to like tidying up my room, doing things like that, nobody, I know I'm using that example, but nobody can then come at you with your weaknesses that you yourself haven't confronted first. So self-empowerment comes from engaging with yourself on that level. So you know, okay, cool, this is where I fall short, but this is where my strengths are. So once you empower yourself in that way, you're able to have a clear mind and approach any situation, any project, any organization, any company, and say, okay, this is who I am, and this is what I have to offer. Because you're coming from an empowered place, not having any blind spots in your character or you yourself as a person. Yeah, that's what I feel self-empowerment is. Yeah.
Absolutely, Star. Thank you so much for that contribution. And I think you have lamented the importance of understanding oneself and the integration between not just accepting it or acknowledging the good things about you, but also the bad. Because in that way, once you know your weaknesses, then you know, I mean, and I always say this, that we are interconnected in a way. So where I lack, someone else has got the strength. So therefore, that's why we always need to understand our weaknesses and see who else can support that side of us. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. And I think I almost forgot about Mr. Oscar. I cannot forget about our guy, never.
Thank you. Well, I think it's all said. Tirello and Star, they actually read my mind. Because I think self-empowerment, it is to be conscious. It is to be conscious of your inner power, the power inside of everyone. So that way, this consciousness has to be masterized every day until you understand that you are beyond being independent. Now you understand that you are interdependent, which means that you understand you need people, and people also need you to co-create, right? So that's when people understand the philosophy about the Ubuntu spirit, right? I am because you are, and so on. And this is what I really think self-empowerment is, to be conscious of your power and masterize that every day.
Thank you, Oscar. Now, I want to go back to what Star has said, and I just want to ask her a follow-up question with regards to what, with regards to her response. Would you argue that self-empowerment is a destination that one gets to? What's your view on that? And that's for Star, I think. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. No. Well, first of all, no, it's not a destination. We're in constant pursuit of trying to better ourselves. As soon as you tell yourself that, oh, okay, once I get there, then I'm going to be fully empowered, then you're fooling yourself. You're just basically capping your potential. But once you tell yourself, okay, cool, I want to be better than I was last year. I want to be better than I was yesterday. Constantly saying, I'm going to be more empowered. Oh, okay, cool. Exposing yourself to different environments. Saying, okay, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I'm more knowledgeable in. This is what I need to learn more of. So I think self-empowerment, it's a journey for everyone, and everyone should be in constant pursuit of that if they want to get better and improve. You know how they always say you never stop learning. So even in the same way, you never stop learning about everything else, but you also never stop learning about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I just remembered, I've got a mentor who always says, in life, you need to journey and dance. Sometimes you just journey and we're so focused in what needs to be done. I need to achieve this. And we forget to enjoy even the small wins that we have, because we just so caught up in this vision, this, this big thing that we want to. So yeah, no, we must never forget to journey and dance at the same time. Thank you for that contribution. Yeah. Now, because now we tapped into a level of, consciousness. So, and I think now, we live within a layered realities with different power dynamics. And that seems to require an extremely high level of self-awareness, like you mentioned. Do you believe that we truly have the ability to tap into that level of consciousness to achieve empowerment without help from other people? And what are the practical steps that we can take towards empowering our mindsets to get to that level? And this is open to all the panelists and even the audience for that matter.
Okay, maybe I think I will take that one. Benjamin Franklin once said that, investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And I think this takes on from the previous question that is self-empowerment a destination? No, it's not. And for us to have that power, we need, and this is something, I think for us as young people, we sort of fail to a certain extent to implement, due to the fact that it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work. And especially within the day and age that we live in with, all the online videos that we watch, that issues of instant gratification. We need to be consistently and widely learning. And, learning in terms of reading. Reading allows you to travel while sitting in one place. And reading doesn't not necessarily only mean just reading a book. It can mean watching a video in our various contexts in terms of consumption of knowledge. And when we read wider, we must then read extensively. So reading extensively means what is happening in South Africa as my next door neighbor. So it's not just reading about in Botswana, what is happening in Zimbabwe, what is happening in Nigeria, what is happening in West Africa, East Africa. And then more importantly, once we do that, then we should be able to read critically. And this is where the issue of context comes in, right? I'll just give a practical example. If I take my first heartbreak, and I'm going to be real and practical, but as simple to drive the point home. After I got through that heartbreak, I thought I'd never go through that again, right? And some years pass by, you meet someone, and then you sort of find yourself experiencing those negative feelings, and you think, I thought I knew myself. I thought, I went through this. I thought I built resilience. I thought I wouldn't fall into the same trap. But here you are again, heartbroken. That's just a testament to the fact that we need to consistently empower ourselves. And the best way is through acquiring of knowledge. And once we are able to read widely, to read extensively, to read critically, we are then able to not sort of become a balloon where we are not, able to make decisions on our own. We're able to then sieve information when it comes to us. We're able to make informed decisions that most importantly are best for ourselves first and foremost, and are best, for the people around us or the businesses that we operate. That is what defines reading critically, because then you're able to know, well, that's true, that's not true, that's possibly true, that's not true, that's a good decision, that's not a good decision, that's a good investment, that's not a good investment. So no, you cannot do it all. Yes, you need help. And especially, for example, interactions such as these, when we're hearing from young people alike, within the region, which is where I think that we need to have more of these conversations amongst ourselves as young Africans, where we so often do not.
Absolutely. No, acquiring knowledge.
If I may.
Yes, please go ahead, Oscar. Oscar, you may go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to add a concept here. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be good to go.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
I like to add. I would like to add a concept here of a paradigm shift. You see, I personally do not believe that people could empower others, but I do believe that we can remind people of that, what I was saying at the beginning, that they have the power inside of them, right? This connection, this conversation they should have with themselves every day. So if we speak of practical steps towards the self-empowerment, we need to be self-sufficient, meaning that we need to increase our capacities and abilities. We need to get exposed. We need to be able to seize opportunities or create them. Myself, I normally say I do not believe in good luck, because luck is when your capacity or your ability meets the opportunities. So once you meet the opportunity, you have to seize it. And if the opportunity doesn't come, you have to create it. And the third will be good management of your time and resources. So that's what I really wanted to add in on this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. And I think I also always perhaps ask myself, because now when we look at empowerment, the term empowerment on its own, it's always about those that are empowered, giving power to those that does not have power. So for me, are they willing to lose their power? Because empowerment of one person is disempowerment of another to a certain extent. So now are they willing? But you know what? That has got different layers on its own, and I would love to have another discussion on that with you at some point. Yeah, but thank you for that contribution. I love the different the dynamic response, and you know what? This is quite an interesting session. I mean, we have heard so many interesting, inputs already, and we haven't even gone to the fourth or fifth question. So thank you so much to the panelists. Well, is there anyone else?
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead.
All right, I would like to chime into that one of practical steps towards empowering oneself. I also believe investing in mentorship is very critical, especially for the youth, just to be connected to, professionals and those role models that have done it before us. Because, for instance, right now I am currently involved in a mentorship program where I'm reaping benefits from this person who we don't even meet, but she has helped me a lot in life. Just having that person to believe in, sometimes you need somebody to believe in you until you believe in yourself. So I think mentorship is very important in today's world. And also I believe in just networking and telling your story and being vulnerable while you're at it, because a certain level of vulnerability is actually strength, because you never know who you might connect to and that person may assist you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also very profound, and I like the element where you also integrate. I think we all acknowledge that, because now self-empowerment, in academia especially, it's all about being self-reliant, not necessarily needing anyone else. But I think we can all agree, based on, as I look at the answers that have been given, that there has to be, we all need someone that will speak on our behalf, or that will believe in us when we don't believe in ourselves. And I myself have got a couple of people like that in my life currently. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here moderating the session. But it is because those people believed in myself when I didn't believe that I could moderate a session. By the way, this is my first time. And I thought, phew, but I told myself that I'm not, how would I know if I can or cannot do it? I need to try. And that's the risk you have to make also. And that's also another part of acquiring knowledge through experience. So thank you, Mapaseka, for that. Gabrielle, I see you have your hands up. You may, I'm going to unmute you so you can also engage in this conversation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. I think special greetings to all of you, and thanks to all parliamentarians. And for me, the topics have been raised, the topic has been discussed. I think it's very challenging. While I'm listening to most of you, I just feel as if the entire youth in the whole world would just come together and hear these speeches from various parts, from all of you. And I can imagine the motivation and the change of mindset is going to draw to everybody's heart. I'm so motivated right now. I'm so grateful that I am linked to this. Special thanks to the great Amazon in the house, Ms. Chinwe Okoli. I'm grateful to you for giving me this privilege and opportunity. I think my contribution to self-empowerment, I think in my own understanding, because I have a project, what I call heart-to-heart project, from one person to another, and from one person to another. And I believe if you target 50% in a week, or if you target 50% in a year, or 100% a year, by the time you reach out to these 50%, they can reach out to others. Now, back to the topic, self-empowerment. I have 3 categories of bigs that I run it with. The number one of them, there are 3 bigs. Number one of them is believing in yourself. Believing yourself. And the second B of it is behaving what you believe about yourself. If you believe to be a specialist in a certain field or in certain areas of life, keep behaving towards it, keep thinking towards it, keep reasoning towards it. And the final one of them is you become that which you think you want to become. That is triple B I always have for when I want to talk about self-empowerment. But the keynote of it, most importantly, is self-esteem. Sorry, the first one is self-realization. The second one is self-esteem before the self-empowerment. Before someone can be self-empowered, you need to realize who you are. And that is why the three B comes to play. Believing in yourself, behaving what you believe about yourself, and then finally you become it. And when you finally become whom you think you are, and then you can boldly say, I want to be self-empowered. Like I want to depend on myself. I want to do things I think is right for me without anybody's help. Even if I need somebody's help, I think there's a certain percentage I can do it all alone before getting someone involved. That is self-realization. When you realize who you are, when you accept who you are, I am not going to copy you because I feel you're succeeding in your field. Rather, I want to look inward within myself. And by the time I realize who I am, I realize what is built in me. Then I see myself, I develop it to self-realization and then self-esteem. Then you believe that, hey, Gabby, you can do something. Gabby, there is something the entire world is looking out for that only you can offer. And by the time you must have behaved in those things you believed, by the time you must have become that stuff, the society can benefit from you. And then when you talk about self-empowerment, I think self-empowerment generally tells of someone with an ability to do the needful. Because I believe everything in life is very necessary, but there are important things that one has to do at a time to lift you, to upgrade you, to socialize you to a certain level you want to be at a particular time before you can now look at the next stage of time, the next stage of life. So I believe that for me to be self-empowered, I need to have these steps taken before now, and then know that I am now ready to do anything that is required of me at any point given time without looking for external hands or help. And if at all I will need external help, I should to a certain level has 70% of what I need to achieve my goal before looking for 30% from external hand. So I think that's what I believe about the self-empowerment. And I don't know, maybe in our next topic or in our next discussion, I will make a proposal. Maybe I'll discuss that with the great Amazon, Chinwe Okoli. Maybe we need to see how we can engage others. In my own area, in my own local area, I'm running a program I told you, heart-to-heart project. And I believe that when I reach one person and I am able to work on this person's mindset, and this person can have a positive mindset over himself or herself, he or she can see reason to think on how to help another person. I'm sure the world will become a better place if we have all these steps. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Thank you so much for that contribution. You touched on a number of things, and I think ultimately it all boils down to, for you to have that self-realization, there's a certain level of, I mean, it's also a process of empowering yourself. I mean, for you to actually go through that process of asking yourself certain questions about yourself in order to navigate life, you know, to navigate life, then for me, I also think that's where it's the process of self-empowerment is actually starting there. And now you tap into another angle, which is your emotional intelligence, for you to actually understand how are you going to then tackle the challenges or engage your life in society and so forth. And it starts with understanding yourself, because remember, we live in a transformational society. There's different things. We exist, we coexist with different types of realities. So we need to, and it's what Tirelo and Star was saying earlier with regards to understanding who you are first. And that is really the first step to empowering oneself. So thank you so much, Gabby. And I'm sure Chine will take you up on that offer. Thank you so much. We'll need to move on. I see there's another hand, but I'm looking at the time, and I promised Chinwe I'll be mindful of the time. So Kingsley, please just hold on a little bit. We'll see if we still have time towards the end. I'll still give you an opportunity, but I just quickly need to move on to the next question, please. Just bear with me. Now, it's very interesting, and I think we actually need more time for this. And I think Chinwe, there is a demand and a proposal for a follow-up session in this aspect. And as much as this topic, you know, today is focused on self-empowerment, you know, that is not to say we need to ignore the profound effects of our current social arrangements. Now, I would like to find out from our panel if they think that, you know, in their respective countries, in our respective countries, policies are effective in ensuring opportunities are equally attainable, and are they morally fair? Because then I think that's what Oscar was saying, that you know, he doesn't believe that people are just constantly there waiting to help other people or to empower others, because now if in most cases empowerment is designed by those that are in power, in a sense that they really want to distribute power, or is it a tick sheet exercise, do you think? And the floor is open for, I don't want to call out names anymore. So from our panelists, if the question was clear, you can go for it. Tirelo, I don't want to call you because you're in front of my screen, but I think, let me see. I think I'll go to Evelyn.
I think while maybe Evelyn is okay, all right, there she is.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Tirelo.
I was actually going to ask her to repeat the question to buy some time for you.
Okay, it's fine. I think I can take a shot at the question. Yeah. For me, I can only speak from the context of my country, Nigeria. So the question, if I understood it correctly, is to ask, is it actually, are there policies actually in place to ensure that there is opportunities for people to be self-empowered, or is it just an exercise, you know, to tick off a box to say, okay, we have this policy in place? Is there actually the willpower to see that in actuality people have these opportunities to be self-empowered? Yeah, I think in the Nigerian context, we may not be there 100%, but at least we see some sort of political will to see that women in rural areas, young people, girls, people who otherwise would have been at the margins of society, you know, people living with disabilities, are getting representation and are getting the opportunities that they need to be empowered. While we see some bills being passed recently in our House of Parliament, bills relating to the participation of people with disabilities in the political section, in the political arena, in democratic processes. And then, of course, policies allowing women or even more young people. I know a certain organization here in Nigeria sponsored a bill called Not Too Young to Run, where young people were in effect coached, mentored, and given the resources that they would need to take part in the political process. And we saw some results coming from that in the last elections in Nigeria, where a higher percentage of young people were elected into political office. So I would say it's not a very driven kind of change, but slowly we are beginning to see a bit of change in this area. We're beginning to see governments putting their mouth putting their money where their mouth is, and trying to see that people are getting more empowered. We also have this I don't know what to call it now, put in place by the government in Nigeria to provide soft skills or skills for young people who otherwise would have been disenfranchised or who otherwise wouldn't have a seat at the table, to make decisions concerning their lives. So I would say in our context, yes, we see a bit of change compared to the recent past. So like I said, I can only speak for Nigeria. I don't know the context in other countries, but I think, yes, there's a bit of a political will. And then, of course, with the participation of not just the government, the CSOs, the INGOs, individuals as well, we're seeing people, being more exposed to these opportunities to engage, being exposed to more opportunities to take part in the decision-making processes, in our country. So yes, over to you, Tirelo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that comprehensive overview. And I think I would also like to give an opportunity to someone that is not from Nigeria, who can just maybe briefly give us, their stance as to whether their policies or the government is really effective in terms of empowerment.
Okay, maybe I would just take that. Let me just start off by saying that, I think we're really blessed in Botswana in terms of our government's commitment to empowering young people and to having the right policies in place. And the most important thing is that the conversation is an ongoing conversation. But I would like for us to look at it from the perspective of, we need to see ourselves as partners in this. And we ought to take, I think, everything with a pinch of salt. There's a saying that maybe because I'm an overthinker to a certain extent, that I'm an overthinker, and before you hurt me, I knew you were going to hurt me, so it doesn't really, I had already calculated those risks. And I'm really sharing this from the perspective of being an entrepreneur, and especially within our context and environment in the innovation and technology space. It's a totally new sector. And as much as we do have the efforts from government, I think we also need to come to the party as young people, not to say that we're not, but we need to then consistently push and engage, for us to see the change that we want to see. Essentially, change, unfortunately, and is not going to come about without the painful process within our individual lives and in terms of as a collective. And we must never think that it's easier anywhere than it is within our context. We sometimes have the perception that it's easier elsewhere than, for example, in my country, right? That grass is always greener on the other side until you get to the other side and you find that, well, the grass is green on the other side, and the other side is where you came from. So we honestly need to see ourselves as young people as partners, and more importantly, providing the value tangibly, and not just through us saying that, you know, we need to participate, we need to be given a space. We need to start churning the wheels of change by action and, you know, providing value. And I think that they definitely are great examples within the continent of young people that are really at the forefront of change, despite how hard it is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tirelo. I just want to, I don't know if we still have Oscar, but I just have a quick question for him. Do you think there has been any progress when it comes to women advancement, or has the notion of women empowerment become also like a kickball in the political field? Like a PR exercise for politicians, so to speak? Because I find, in my view, that in the context of South Africa, it's very politicized, but I'm sure Star will have a different opinion, I'm not sure. So Oscar, would you like to share your view on that?
Well, I don't know how to exactly address the question, because I'm more a technical person. So, but when it comes to political views, I think the vibes, or I would say the thing is taken how would I say this? It takes a new fresh way where women, they are not, as I said at the beginning, they are not being empowered by other person, but it is because of the capacities, the abilities that now they're accessing to positions. And once they are there, they are demonstrating exactly that what are they capable of doing, because he or she was appointed by, you know, by finger. But now the people that I know, some ladies that I know in some very key positions, they are they really deserve it, like the bright, intelligent. And this is something that I would say the key word here is promising.
Thank you so much, Oscar. I actually posed that question to you to determine if you are aware of the environment in which you exist, where you coexist with women. Are you aware of the progress if they are being empowered? So that's why I posed that question directly to you. So
that's what I'm saying, because I'm living my community, as I'm living here and I'm seeing this every day. I'm very proud of friends. I'm very proud of women that's accessing to positions, key positions, and I'm confident that they know what they're doing, right? And I'm feeling very safe, if I may say honestly.
Okay, no, that's good. Thank you so much. I'm just being mindful of our time, and I think on that note, we may conclude our questions. Just before, I just want to see if there are any questions from the chat box. And also, I know Kingsley, briefly, maybe we can give you an opportunity to raise your view or question or comment that you wanted to raise earlier. Kingsley, are you still with us?
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay, let me just say something about the opportunity given to women in terms of politics. Recently, I watched a program here in Nigeria from my state, Enugu State in particular. So there is this new policy, you know, to get more of the women engaged in politics, because actually that state, a woman is a deputy governor of the state, and there is a policy put in place that to provide a particular political post, women are not placed on the same amount of payments to purchase your form. Just a kind of encouragement to get more women involved in politics. Because when you have more women at the table where they can make policies that can, a kind of encourage more people, it will give room for improvement. So, but if you look at those that are making the laws, the policies that are, it's like kind of a person. So when these kind of policies are made, it's a kind of a source of joy that more young, women will be encouraged to get involved in policy making. So earlier on, I raised hand to make a contribution on self-empowerment, and I really want to say that self-empowerment is not selfish. It's not something you say you can do on your own. But the crucial thing is about, asking questions about all those your abilities and finding a clear and concise answers to it. Then you begin to, build capacity through, mentorship, reading, and I noted down some things. Okay, mentorship, reading, and active deployment of your skills. It's one thing I always cherish about my mentor, who actually connected me to Grand Africa Initiative. Through his skills that he deployed daily, he carried a lot of youth around. So this consistency that we have shown.
Kingsley, I'm so sorry. Your connection is also very unstable, and we need to conclude the session. We've got panelists that needs to leave. So on that note, we're going to close the floor now. And I just want to find out from the panelists if they have any final words. Very brief, please. We just have a minute to wrap up, and I need to give over to Chinwe as well. And I'm very sorry for the disruptive, wrapping up. Apologize for that. Anyone from the panelists who has any closing remarks? Very brief.
Yes, I would just like to say that I think this was a very, very good webinar, very informative. It has opened, us up to issues that we need to keep working on. I have to confess that prior to this webinar, I hadn't really thought about self-empowerment, but getting the invitation to speak on this, I actually started looking into it and then, of course, researching and trying to see how I could add value to the conversations. And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, coming up to this event as well, with all the rich contributions from the different panelists as well as the keynote speaker. So I don't think this is something that could end with the Women's Week or Women's Month. I think it's a conversation that needs to keep happening until every woman in Africa, every young person has access to the resources they need to empower themselves. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of this and to just encourage Grand Africa, if this could be something maybe done on a more regular basis. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure meeting all of you today.
Thanks, Evelyn. Likewise. Thank you so much. Tirelo, final words from you, briefly, please.
Yes, the final words would be, I think, to just quote, a couple of greats from the past. Pablo Picasso once said, "The true meaning of life is to know your gift, and the purpose of it is to give it away." And that speaks to the power of partnership, the power of working together. Martin Luther King said that we must work together as brothers and sisters or perish, together as fools. And ending it all with the consciousness of us being African, that we can only win when we unite. Ending it with a Nigerian proverb, and Chinwe will correct me on this. It says, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion, right? And this just essentially speaks to the possibility and the power of working together. And just as a close of Women's Month, I think it would be a miss for me to say that when we do empower women, we're able to perform, for lack of a better word, as individuals, better as communities, better as nations, as a continent. And it is really the time right now, because we are going through a social revolution with all these global economic trends into play, the fourth industrial revolution, globalization. We need to understand the impact. The research has been done. We need to understand the impact of what future are we creating if we do not have a diverse and inclusive community. So each and every single one of us, like I said, are unique within our own right and have the power to contribute in whichever way within us knowing our spaces, which speaks to our uniqueness as individuals, and knowing that we have that power and that ability to change. Thank you.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you
for the opportunity.
Thank you for your contribution. Very insightful. And I think I'm looking at a comment now quickly that is very in line with the conversation you had with Oscar. And Michael says here, Sierra Leone, we have very good policies to empower women and youth, but unfortunately, many of them are not self-empowered. So now, and that's the challenge, because now no one can empower you, really have an impact if you are not self-empowered. And that's a very interesting comment. Thank you, Michael. I think I'm gonna go to Oscar. Please, sir, your closing remarks, very briefly.
Hello?
Yes, Oscar?
Yes, it is all said. It was a very, very informative panel, very, I would say, well achieved from all the panelists. I really want to thank everyone for their contribution. And it's very crucial to speak about self-empowerment at this level, at this digital era. So we need to increase our abilities and our capacities. Because whatever life venture that we want to achieve, we really need to have the willingness, the enthusiasm, the reasoning, meaning the acts and the odds, the determination, and to be assertive. But most of all, we need to have a discipline. So again, thank you very much to be part of this. Gainers, we are all gainers, but on top of everything, we are dreamers. So we believe that dreams are possible, and let's achieve them together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think we are all here now because we are dreamers and we're constantly looking for opportunities to achieve our dreams. So thank you so much, Mr. Dreamer. I will be joining your quest very soon because I'm very interested to find out about your organization. Thank you. And
thank you.
Mapaseka, please go ahead, your closing remarks.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'd just like to say, let's not allow empowerment to be gendered. Let's just take a collaborative approach towards empowerment and just empower every human, regardless of the gender. And to the women, I would just like to say, we're doing great and we should just be kind to ourselves. And people cannot hate you as much as you can hate yourself. Yeah. We all know that. And I can just say, it's evident that God loves us as women. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Last but not least, we have Star.
Oh.
Star? Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'd first of all like to say I thoroughly enjoyed the webinar from everyone. The panelists, absolutely wonderful people, so knowledgeable. I've gained a lot from this personally. And I just want to say, I really hope that this doesn't end here. I'd love for all of us to connect on LinkedIn as well, so we can keep the conversation going. And it's truly very important. It's vital, especially across all industries and across all fields, no matter what you're doing in your career or organization. I think self-empowerment is truly vital. And yeah, I was really I was really moved by what that person said in Sierra Leone, all the policies in place, but they don't see themselves fit to actually gain and benefit from them. So that just highlights how important this topic was. And thank you so much, Palesa. You did an excellent job for your first time moderating this. Amazing. Thank you, Chinwe, for putting it together, as well as the keynote speaker. And panelists, you guys are wonderful. I hope to speak soon again.
On that note, and thank you, staff, for such a really insightful conversation and inputs, and to all the panelists, thank you so much. It was such an enriching conversation. I mean, and you know what, I wouldn't mind a follow-up session. So without wasting any more time, I think thank you, Chinwe, for the opportunity, and well done for the amazing work that you are doing as the leader of GAIN. Bring African leaders together. In fact, I have seen Star on LinkedIn, but we've actually never connected. And I've been thinking maybe should connect with this, with this trailblazer, because I think maybe we may have things in common. And here we are, being connected through GAIN and through Chinwe. So thank you so much. I think this is such an amazing, and it opens up our minds as well, not to be always just so narrow, and just to reach out to each other. And now, I think with this pandemic actually made us realize that we can connect anyway. So, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I will be connecting with all of you on LinkedIn, and hopefully see you on future events, GAIN events. And thank you to the GAIN team, Cynthia, and everyone for the opportunity. And back to you, Chinwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Palesa, for driving this panel. I mean, you did a great job. If you hadn't said, I wouldn't have known it was your first time. Thank you. You did justice to it. Thank you very much for driving the conversation. And of course, I've been taking lots of notes here, because it's been, I think we carefully selected, we carefully selected the panelists and the moderators, and all of you gave out so much value. And, not just giving out value, but also giving it with this enthusiasm that makes people want to stay and listen to what this person is saying and all of that. So, and that's actually what comes with, the energy that comes with being a young person that is prepared. It's only when you're prepared that you can give value. Someone talked about filling yourself. If you're not filled with something, you can pour, right? You can't overflow. So thank you all very much for this very, very, very rich conversation. So everyone, I'd like you to tell us in the comment section, tell the panelists, how do you feel? Was it great? Was it great? How do you feel? Give them some encouragement. Let's hear your word. Just say something in the comment section. Great, 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 great. Let me see the comments. Who's there? In the comment, I want to see drop a word or an emoji for the panelists as we're wrapping up this session. Yeah, Jara said great. Yeah, keep it coming, value loaded. Yes, Palesa, good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Palesa. Thank you, Tirello. Thank you, Mapaseka. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Star. Thank you so much. Who will believe I'm just connecting to most of you? We're just meeting for the first time. But it feels like we've known for such a long time. Thank you all so much. And that's actually the power the digital world has placed in our palms. Thank you very much, our panelists. So we're going to take it further from here. But before we jump into the very last session, which is going to be anchored by Asha Amani, the very last session, I would like to especially recognize the presence of our board member, who's all the way from South Africa. I was so happy to see him join us, and his name is Dr. Maclean Sibanda. So please, if you can hear me, I would like you to say a word, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. And, first of all, congratulations for everyone that participated this afternoon. I think this is the greatest gift that you can give to yourself to really network with other youth and also to really focus on some of the topics that have been discussed this afternoon. I'd like to also recognize all the women. Happy International Women's Month. And a few days ago, I think it was actually yesterday, I tweeted and I say that men have a responsibility to ensure that women are included in any conversation if society is to make any progress. And that is quite important because all of us, whether you are a man or a woman, your first love was a woman. It was a mother. And I have been blessed to have been raised by wonderful women. And I was the only boy in the family, so I grew up amongst women. And I was taught at an early age that women are very powerful, and I've seen women being powerful. I think if any nation wants to achieve anything, you have to empower a woman. So I think as we close off the International Women's Month, is to also encourage all the women to say to you, you are enough. You don't need any validation from any man. You don't need any validation from from anyone. Just understand that you are enough. God created you to be enough. He created you to have everything that you need to be able to get through this life. And I think to the men, we need to change how our society views women. I think it's incumbent on each and every single man to make sure that we change the narrative. And in the decisions that we make about society, about leaders, about the future, we need to make sure that there's inclusivity. And also, I think it's incumbent on any man to refuse to sit on a panel that is just male dominated. And so that is actually quite important. But I think at the same time, I think one of the panelists just said something quite profound, that self-empowerment is not about gender. And I think that is important. And I think the point that I want to put forth is that we mustn't leave the boy child behind. So there's an opportunity to raise boys like I was raised, to actually believe and really appreciate the power and value of women in society. And I think the era of an empowered women is now. And we're seeing it globally, whether it be the World Trade Organization or whichever international organization. Women are rising to show, in essence, that they have a place in society, and in most instances, actually, far much better leaders than men. We in this COVID era, we have to look, like in New Zealand, a woman led, that country and is leading that country through the difficult times, and has made decisions which the world can only marvel. So just want to finish off with two things. The one thing is just to, interestingly, I picked up a quote this morning, which I tweeted to my family. I got two boys, 24 and 18. And I'd like to actually perhaps read this to you. You can find it on Twitter if you want. The Twitter name is Am I Best? But the quote goes as follows, I quote, "If there is one thing that we must stay committed to throughout life, it is self-love, which includes self-awareness, self-care, and self-advocacy for our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. You deserve to, and you must be there for yourself till your last breath," close quote. So this reminded me that self-empowerment is an inside job. And so we have to continuously work on ourselves. And when we feel down and we doubt ourselves, which will happen to anyone, it still happens to me. you need to find those people that believe in you. You need to look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are enough. And lastly, really to appreciate the work that Chinwe has been doing. I met Chinwe in Iran. You know, Chinwe just had stories, and Chinwe wanted to do this, and Chinwe, sir this, sir that. And you know, later on I met Chinwe in Nantes, in France. Chinwe was thinking about GAIN. Today, GAIN is a reality. I've been following GAIN activities, and now and then I bomb into these sessions just to be able to see the impact that GAIN is making. And the last seminar, largely Nigerian, and there was a commitment to really spread it out to the rest of Africa. And this particular webinar is testimony, you know, to that GAIN has got a role to play right across the continent. So to everyone, you know, thank you for participating, and Chinwe, thank you for living up and delivering on that particular vision, and wishing you all of the best. And so I'll be logging off. I'm not a youth anymore. But really to congratulate everyone that is here, and keep on doing amazing work in your own countries. I follow some of you on LinkedIn, and so I see the great work that you do. And so wherever I can be of help, you know, shout out, and you know, great work from people like Tirelo in Botswana, and I support her cause. You know, Star followed you, and I keep on watching what you're doing, and there's many more. So I can actually go through most of you, you know, follow your work. So great work, and keep it up.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We're really delighted to have you join us today. Thank you. Thank you. And so now, before I move on, I would also like to inform us that I was also delighted to see an ambassador of South Africa to Nigeria join us, but he had left just before this. So his name is His Excellency Tami Nseleku. So he's in Abuja here. He's a South African ambassador to Nigeria. So it was really, it looks like we have a lot of South African support. Like we're really excited, really delighted. So now going over to the last session, the concluding part, I'd like to invite Cynthia Asha Amani, who is the Regional Coordinator East Africa for Grand Africa Initiative, to please take on the next section and conclude. Thank you very much. Asha, you have our attention, please.
Thank you, Chinwe. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone, for that informative panel. I learned a lot. I have a long way to get self-empowered, so I must say, so I'll be needing all of you to connect with me to achieve self-empowerment. I need that. So I'll give a bit of a background of what we did for the month of March as the Grand Africa Initiative. We thought to ourselves, why don't we get a challenge to connect? And who do we connect with? We connect with every African in the continent and outside Africa. So what we did, we sent out a challenge to connect with all the African youths wherever for the month of March to celebrate International Women's Day. And it became a month, not just a day, it became a month. So there has been activities happening all around to celebrate that. And I would like to mention a few things that happened. We connected with people from South Africa. We connected with people of Cameroon who accepted the challenge to do something in their community. We connected with people from the United Kingdom. That's why I really wanted to challenge our board member that, no, it's not just Africa, it's wherever Africans live, you know. So what we did, for example, we have Deborah from Nigeria. She held an event for 6,000 students to, you know, just to get ladies, boys and girls together and empower them. And I would like to call on one gainer. We call ourselves gainers and gain movers, to just speak in 2 minutes to say what he did in his in his capacity in Nigeria, and to have a feel of what we've challenged ourselves, not just in the month of March, the whole year as 2021 and beyond. So I would like to talk to Val. Tell us in a few minutes what you did for the month of March to celebrate this International Women's Month.
Awesome. Greetings to everyone. It's been amazing in here. Like, it's been awesome. Like, my notes is filled with valuable content. Thanks to our amazing speakers, panelists, time will fail me to actually express my gratitude. So quickly, the month of March, like you can see me putting on the beautiful gay t-shirt because of the massive work we did for young girls, especially in Nigeria, across 3 cities. So I had the privilege of reaching over 500 young girls. And the reason why I included young girls in this outreach is because our executive director didn't just appear from anywhere. She grew up, right? Cynthia, you grew up. Terreno, Mapaseka, keynote speaker, all of the amazing women you see in the world grew up. So definitely these young girls are going to transcend to become women tomorrow. So the kind of information, the kind of things they hear, the kind of skills they expose themselves to will determine the height and level they're going to get to. So it's very important we reach out to them. So that was the motivation. We want to have more women become presidents across various countries of the world, and they just need the right information to be able to get there. So that was the motivation, and we had to go to some secondary schools in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. We went to a school called Rochas Foundation, where they have over 1,000 students, but we had a session for the girls, and they were over 300. And we went to another school called the Obasanjo Model Secondary School. It's actually a community school where we have over 500 students, but we had a session for the girls, and they were over 150. And then finally, we had a session for girls in Enugu State, Nigeria, so the southeastern part of Nigeria, they were over 100. And then we had for young female entrepreneurs and career professionals. So all of these things were what I engaged myself to do in the month of March for the beautiful Grand Africa Initiative. Thank you, Cynthia, for allowing me the opportunity to share my experience. It was amazing and fantastic. And I want to assure you all that soon you will see these young girls evolving to become big names across the world.
Thank you, Val. I can see the excitement in you. It means it came really from the bottom of your heart. Really, I can see, you're just pumped up with energy talking about that. And we really appreciate having you on the team. And we really appreciate you taking that opportunity to, to empower the women who's going to be the future for the continent. Palesa, I personally challenged Palesa to take on the challenge, but she's dropped off because she had to attend to a few things. But I would like to mention what she did for South Africa. I hope, if I'm pronouncing this wrongly, please correct me. Nkamisa Intombi Talent. I need to learn the African. Ntakamisa Intombi Challenge, where she brought together very young girls, and then she managed to get to talk to them, sort of, building their self-confidence, because she's very keen on self-confidence. So she talked to them, and actually it was just a challenge for that. And she went to talk to the children, but now it has become bigger. Now this school had sort of a request where now the challenge is bigger. Now they're trying to collect library books, because they want to establish libraries for schools in South Africa. So anyone in South Africa is very much welcomed to connect with Palesa to get the challenge going on. So we just realized that it's for the month of March, but hey, it's like to its entirety until all the women and men, small boys and girls, get empowered to be the future leaders of Africa. So those are the two people that we would like to mention. But I'm sure there has been a lot of people who connected. We have country representatives, we have campus ambassadors for the GAIN team. We have all of those that took the challenge, and we appreciate you. If you want to know more about what people did, please make sure you follow us on all the pages, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, to see what other gainers did for the challenge. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to the end of this panel. I really, really appreciate you having spent your time here, and I'm sure you really got out learning a lot like I have done, and I hope to connect with you in all the platforms. Let's get this conversation going. Let's dig deep into ourselves to see how we can empower each other, because sometimes we want to be self-empowered, but we really do not know how. Unless you have that conversation with someone else and be like, hey, you're actually good at this, then you start feeling, I can actually do this. And it happens only when we start having this conversation. So I wouldn't like this to end here. I would like us to continue having this participation together. Thank you for the active participation, and I'm sure the panelists enjoyed, the pumped up kind of session. We don't like being very, very formal, kind of parliamentary stuff, because, we like to have some fun, and we like to have some motivation going on. We like to have education going on. So thank you so much for your active participation. Make sure you follow us everywhere. Let's connect. And unless there's any other business from our executive director or anyone else, you can leave at your own pleasure. But from the bottom of my heart, I really, really thank you for participating and for taking your time to be here.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Star. Thank you, Oscar, Tirello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for staying till the end. Thank you, Val, the mover. Thank you to all my team members. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you, Chinaza. Thank you, Unguhe, Mapaseka, Ada, Zolani, Kinsley, Osioma, Eche, Grace. Thank you all for staying to the end. Michael and Fidel. Thank you, Oscar. From me to you, it's a bye. Let's stay connected on social media, okay? Thank you.
Adios.